Hello friends and enemies, I'm here with a themed reading vlog for you. Coming out the day the book drops, or the day after, I don't know. Either way, we're here. We're reading Ravenous by Kresley Cole with my Kresley Cole shrine behind me. I guess in Chopper and Kuromi too, but all of my Kresleys live here. And I have the reprints. I don't have a problem. It's fine. I don't have a problem. But I'm here and I am so excited to be here. I'm nervous too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am nervous. I am nervous as a Kresley fangirl, as someone who has almost started a reread of the series repeatedly this year. I'm very excited to dive into Ravenous and see what I think, and I have both an e-arc and an audiobook copy, so this vlog is going to be spoiler filled, FYI, in some capacity. I will probably do timestamps so you can skip ahead of the spoilers when I talk about them, but I'm gonna do I am gonna just full on spoil the shit out of this book for y'all. And I'm sorry, not sorry, because I am so pumped. It is definitely one of my most anticipated reads of 2026. And I can't believe I was lucky enough to get an audiobook and an ebook copy of it. So let's get going on this. I don't know when I'm starting. I'm starting in a few, but I figured let me update you now while I'm in my makeup and stuff. But I'm gonna go drink my pop and I am gonna go get my AirPods and start listening while I run some errands this morning, or this afternoon technically, and I will see y'all very soon. Okay, I'm officially 10% into Ravenous, and this is very, very different than other Kresley books. This has a lot of POVs. Kresley usually does not have this many POVs in her books. I say that on authority, as I am basically current besides one, maybe two books in the Immortals After Dark series. I've kind of just been holding off on them for a minute. I didn't really want to read them last year during stuff happening because I didn't want their I wanted to be associated with that. Anyways, so there's that. And it is a lot of POVs. It is borderline whiplash level of POVs for a romance author. So yeah, I feel like at 10% I'm starting to pick up on the new characters every chapter. I'm intrigued by a lot of them. I really am curious about Leah, our vampire princess who's been locked away situation. And I'm curious about how the world stuff's going to intertwine here, because it's very similar. I'm pretty much 99% sure it ties into Immortals After Dark. Because it is a spin-off series. Yes. Okay. I remembered right. I was it is a spin-off series, right? So yeah, I'm going to keep listening and I will come back to you in another 10-15% of the book to give you more thoughts. But right now, we're just kind of character hopping a lot and getting a lot of world set up. It's very fantasy, paranormal feeling, not romancy so far. And I don't know how romancy it is going to be overall. So we will keep that in mind. I'm currently 36, almost 37% through Ravenous. NetGalley's audiobook app gives you 0.5%, which is interesting. So I'm eating my lunch, I'm doing some co-working sprints, and my main task today is reading this book. We have met so many characters, and already here on chapter 22 we're getting a new character, and then I think we'll have met everybody. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. I think this is really interesting. It's really fascinating. It is very fantasy paranormal forward versus being romance forward like Kresley's prior books. So far I really like our characters. I think one of my favorite characters is Inkletter, who is a succubus, incubus, whatever, incubus, yeah, that's the male version, and obsessed with books. And so he goes on missions and does things because he wants money to buy books, and I just think that's really admirable. I really admire it. I think it's great. I love it. So yeah, that has cracked me up immensely. I really like him. I think that's my favorite character so far. I've been really surprised that I'm not as annoyed with Leah as I expected, who is the vampire who was trapped and to be bred. And I also like Lowell, who's one of the werewolves. Always one of my favorites in Kresley's. I love Kresley's werewolves, so there's that. Yeah, okay. I will be back shortly with more thoughts. I don't have big thoughts right now. I'm gonna eat my pad thai leftovers and listen to more of this book while I eat. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so I am now much further into Ravenous. I'm 70% in. And here's my biggest takeaway to date on this book. It is very fantasy. There's so much happening. I honestly feel like I could reread this book and I'd find things I missed. Which I don't normally feel about most of my Kresleys that I love. And that's not an insult, it's just what they are. They are paranormal romances. This reeks of fantasy. And that is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. I'm going to tell you right now, one of my favorite characters is Ditch, which is a demon witch. She is amazing. I also quite like Mira so far, and I like the dynamics of the men who have had to wed beings they don't necessarily like or want to maybe be with, even though they have to be. I always enjoy that. So yeah, I'm enjoying that a lot. I'm really unsure how this is going to end, because I don't feel like we're working towards a conclusion. I do believe we're going to have a cliffhanger, so I'm kind of mentally prepping myself for that moment, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's what's up right now. I'm gonna go work on my planner some more, continue cleaning stuff out. I've literally been listening to this book and cleaning out my office. Like, actually, I am gonna show y'all. I wasn't, but I'm gonna show you, so hold on. Okay, these drawers have just been full of junk, so now we have I put a bunch of notebooks in here. I have not a ton in here, like a pencil case and some other just random stationery stuff. Cords, all of my cords, another iPad case, extra hard drive, SD cards live right here. Again, it's well maintained. Stickers and some planner stuff. And then this drawer is basically empty. It has, that drawer has like an old hard drive in it, which I need to move my binders for stuff. But yeah, I've done that. I have cleaned out over here along my desk. I'm going to work, I think I'm going to move everything down and try to make it so my laptop slots in kind of over here more. Because I mostly just use the big screen. I don't really use all three screens, but Grumps does. So it kind of has to be movable back. But yeah, it feels really good to have worked on this. And I worked on my planner, because I'm determined to use my planner for the last half of the year. I've not been good about it this year, rightfully so, but I'm determined. But yeah, so I've done that and been listening to the book and just like kind of surprised. I've really enjoyed a lot of the dynamics here. Again, it has the roots, it has the essence of a Kresley, which makes it work for me. But I also think, like I said, it has some things in it that make me be like, this is so different at the same time from what we're used to from Kresley. And that's not a bad thing. That's not necessarily like the best thing, but it's not a bad thing. Oh, the other thing I want to show y'all before I forget is I got these little collapsible totes from Walmart. This one has some pins in it, and I have another one with more pins in it. So that way they're just like, my pins are under my little monitor stand. But yeah. At 70%, I'm like, where is this going? What is going to happen? So I'm excited to continue. I have under 2 hours left now. Really like an hour and 20 left, I think. So I'm going to work on finishing this up, and I will be back to talk to you probably in another 10-15%, and then again when I finish. Okay, I'm officially 90% in, and we just had some huge reveals around Arctis and Leah, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? I'm assuming I'm about to get dropped off in a terrible cliffhanger, okay? Like, I've already accepted that, to be honest with you, because it is what it is. But the reveals around what Arctis and his buddy thought happened to their parents in this last chunk is incredible, basically. So I'm going to spoil it. So if you don't want the spoiler, skip ahead. But Arctis finds out that his queen has taken Leah because her mate is convinced Leah is his mate, even though they're cousins. Weird, whatever. Vampires. They're weird. Anyways, she realized he was her mate, so she took care of Leah for him by kidnapping her. And in doing so, had to kill Arctis's and his friend's parents. And they didn't know that because she took them in after and thought that, like, she took them in out of, like, the kindness of her heart. No, she took them in because she murdered their parents. So this is about to get really, really, really interesting. And then Mira and Lowell are witch who lives in a toadstool, who I really like. And Lowell is a werewolf. She's found a letter he left her like a week ago and is on the hunt to go find him now to like confess her feelings, because like they're gonna fight fate even if they're not mates, and this feels dangerous. This feels dangerous in a paranormal world to me. This feels like a very high likelihood of not working out correctly, and I don't like it. But yeah, I have like 20 minutes left, and I have a couple minutes left in the sprint. So I'm going to finish this sprint up. When I'm done with sprints, I'm going to listen to the last 20 minutes, and we're going to wrap this thing up. I know I haven't given you a ton of plot or spoilers, but I truly, like, I've spent a lot of this book going, what is happening? And then being like, okay, I'm up to speed again. And then going, what is happening? Because of how much we head hop. Like, it is not good, the amount of head hopping happening in this. And it's not, like, consistent where, like, every 4 chapters is this character. It's very much, like, all over the place. So that is not a favorite of mine so far. But Fingers crossed, y'all, that we get some good stuff out of this series, and maybe I get some more people to read Immortals After Dark. Very intrigued to see what happens in the next little bit of book I have left, and I will talk to you very soon. I have never been happier to have been on sprints while finishing a book, because y'all got some snippets there of my live reaction to the last like 5% of this book. I'd read some reviews. I'd read some spoilers to prepare myself because I wasn't sure what to expect with Ravenous. And let me tell you, I still made those faces when the things that I'm about to talk about happened. I'm going to give you spoilers now, and then you can come back for the outro where I'll tell you my final thoughts and like opinions on who this book is for as a Kresley Cole diehard fan. So leave now before I spoil the last 5 to 8% of this book. We'll say 10 to be generous here. Okay, it's just us now. Those of you that want spoilers. I started texting Shay mid listening to this book. So some of those reactions you got were also hers to this. So I've been kind of waffling as I read it, and I was like, I'm not talking about the time, but like I felt like the plot was really just like discombobulated, right? We weren't like, it wasn't coming together. And then the last chunk of it starts to come together. And we get Archytas, whatever his name is, our berserker, and Leah, our vampire princess. We're following them and her being accepted into the berserker clan. Well, we come to find out the queen of that clan is mated to Leah's cousin who wants her and to breed her. Vampires, man, they're weird. Anyways, we find that out. We also find out that the queen covered up the murder of Archytas and Torben's parents' murder because that cousin did the crime, and she covered it up because she knew it was her mate and didn't want him to get murdered for it. So then she took those two boys in and raised them like her own and cared for them on a bed of lies. A bed of lies. And then we jump to my favorite little witch, Mira. Mira is here and with Lowell, and they're going to mate. They are going to mate now. And screw the conventions of the werewolf clan and all that stuff. And Mira makes a pledge to Hecate, I think. Anyways, she makes a pledge. And the pledge involves her not having children to be with him and all this stuff. So help me, blah, 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 blah. Well, mid-mating, Peas, you don't want to be in my arms when I scream. Maybe you do. Okay, mid-mating, she knows I'm stressed. Mid-mating, Lowell senses his actual mate. Mira is excited because she thinks, oh my god, it's happening. We're doing this and like, we're actually mates. No. He's mid-bone and runs off because he senses his mate. And Mira becomes what appears to be an evil sorceress villain witch situation, and I'm here for that. I'm curious about that. I want to see where that goes. Peas. Why is my cat determined to chew on anything she can when I am filming? So that happens. And then Daphne, or Daphna, I don't know, something like that. She's mated to Torben and pregnant, has a baby, and his name's Coda, and he's a berserker, and he's going to avenge his father, supposedly. And then, like, she uses, Archytas is, like, last summoning thing to, like, get herself transported with the baby. Yeah. And then Thane and Ditch are, like, Ditch is, like, swept up by Thane, who is her mate, she's his mate, and is, like, being traveled with him. And then we just kind of end with Mira's awakening. And that was an intense last chunk of a book. And I hope we get book 2 soon. I hope it's not a year-long wait. I hope it's a relatively quick wait. I'm hoping 6 to 9 months. Please don't. I'm really hoping 6 to 9 months for the next book, because I would just love to know. But yeah, I'm left flabbergasted, and I feel like I don't even know. I don't even know how to process this, because like it's so not like Kresley that we have this book series happening, like that we have a series in which like multiple of the romances that are built up throughout the book are not delivered on. And I don't hate it as an idea overall, but it's so jarring when what I'm used to from Kresley is very different than this. And that's not to say Kresley won't fuck with you in her romances, because she will, and she does. But this was wild. I'm really curious to see what happens next. So, no spoilers now. You are currently safe if you are watching this part. I want to give a quick caveat on who I think this is for. I think this is for anybody who wants more from Kresley and is open to a not romance by Kresley. You need to be prepared that if you didn't watch those spoiler sections, this is not a capital R romance currently. Nor could it be, really, probably, honestly. I don't know yet. Determinations will be made as we get more books in the series. But yeah, this is not a capital R romance from Kresley. If you like fantasies and books with like a lot of different types of magical beings, I think you might really love this. The narration is fantastic, as always, because it's Robert Peckoff. But if you are not open to things not having a solid romance element, this may not be for you. If you are not open to being betrayed and upset in that last chunk, this is not for you. So I'm going to say proceed with caution. I still give it 4 stars because it had a lot of Kresley flavor that I enjoy and love. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the series really pays off on a lot of things. If you're familiar with The Accession and the other Immortals After Dark books that we've been building up to, this is a prior one of those. So we'll see what happens. I'm really, really curious. I'm really, really curious. So that's where we're at right now. I can't believe I finished this book. Anyways, let me know if you're going to read Ravenous or not, or if you already read it and what your thoughts are. If you don't want to do any of that, you can leave me a witch, a vampire, a werewolf. I don't know what a berserker's emoji would be of your choosing down below. And as always, I'll have links for you down there. Links to my friend anywhere on the internet that I am. And I will talk to y'all in a few days after I recover. Bye.
To leave, already packing. Come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action. What we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for.